And this I labored with this one for way too long. In fact, a few years ago, back in Montana, we were, I think this was the summer of 2012, we were there for my parents' 50th, and Zach, walking back from the lake, said, "So, when are you and Christine going to get married?" He was 7 years old at the time, and he said, "What's the deal?" I'm not kidding. What's the deal? So, and I had my sort of, response that I delivered in these situations, which is, well, I got some career stuff to deal with first. So, including figuring out, when I was going to be able to move to Minnesota or not. So, but it was more than that, Zach. FYI. So I thought about this when I was putting this together, and it's like at 44 years old, when you live in a cottage behind a house, 4 blocks from the Dutch Goose, within 15 minutes of some of the best biking in the country with John, and you can see Stanford football games live at will. And you've got a certain spot for every pot, pan, and spice jar in your kitchen. You can cook up huge feasts while listening to NPR and send pics of your meals to Christine and your family members. What more do you need? It's paradise, but I realized something was missing. I felt comfy. And I classify sort of the state I was in as advanced stage bachelorhood. And this, combined with my chronic perfectionism, affected my ability to pull the proverbial trigger and actually get the deal done. So, moving on. That's the real answer, Zach. Maybe you'll understand better. But as my childhood soccer coach once said, "Eric, you are a bit of a late bloomer." So I remember that to this day. So lo and behold, I bloomed late once again, and after conducting a thorough 4-year analysis, I finally determined that the amazing, near perfect woman is the one for me. I want to talk about a few key events that helped me determine that this would be an optimal decision. So, I'm hyper analytical. So, one. Watching her put together my IKEA furniture with power tools. So, or anyone who doesn't know, Christine is an orthopedic surgeon. And to Meriwether, David Cooey, and the other engineers in the room, I think she can put you to shame. Maybe not you. But it was a whir of hands, arms, screws, and power tools, and perhaps a 2-second glance at the instructions. And this is just one of the many amazing talents that she possesses. The list is long, and I won't bore you with it. But handy is not the term for this notable attribute. In so many ways, she is what I would call a highly competent, multi-talented expert. So, she's actually, by Chinese zodiac, which I've become a little bit familiar with, a fire dragon, which comes around every 48 years, is that right? 60 years, sorry.
Oh.
So she's a fire dragon. So it's said that fire dragons, according to the Chinese zodiac, are successful in whatever they do. And from personal experience, I do agree. So that was one. 2 was watching with Christine the revolting cult horror film Human Centipede 2 full sequence. So, okay.
Has anybody seen this?
Hopefully nobody. I doubt it.
Who chose that movie?
So,
They made a sequel?
she was completely comfortable watching this, and I've been described as being somewhat eccentric at times, and laughing as hard as I did. So what does it say about Christine? Well, she's always willing to try new things, and is very curious, much like I am. From watching Korean horror movies, to learning to dive so we could actually dive the Great Barrier Reef when we went to Australia. Her first ocean dive, right, was the Great Barrier Reef. First ocean dive. Insane. From eating Peruvian guinea pig in Cusco.
Was it good?
Yes, very good. To visiting random states that we've never been to before, like Kentucky and West Virginia. So, she's up for anything. She's adventurous and daring, and obviously this is a good match given our sort of mutual adventurousness. Third, this stood out in my mind, and I don't know, this really sort of hit me, but at the end of a group wine tasting trip to Napa to celebrate Connie and Adam's wedding anniversary, Connie, everyone in the group was passed out in the car except me. Why? Because I was setting security. I'm a former Navy SEAL. Watching for hostiles. So we had just watched an awesome video of Connie and Adam's life together, including their 3 adorable kids, which we've spent time with. And Christine's head was in my lap. Her lips stained red and reeking of wine. And she looked absolutely radiant. And I realized that she was always going to be there for me, committed to me, and 100% supportive. It just kind of dawned on me. And I realized, man, you gotta lock this in. Get married and make your own videos, right? So that was a defining moment for me. She seems to be happy with me doing whatever I'm doing. And in the words of Sage Dave Merriweather, if I can call you Sage, those words pass through my head when he talks about his awesome wife, and he says she's just happy to be here. He said that a number of times, and that's how it feels. You're just happy to be here. It's awesome. So finally, I'll throw one more thing in here. Because I thought this was just the kicker. And this really happened. We were on a trip to Canada last New Year's, very cold trip to Canada. We went to Montreal, Quebec. We were coming back from the airport in Montreal, and we had a customs official in front of us. And after spending, basically he asked us our ages, our professions, and if we were married. He was a very chatty Canadian customs official. He said, "Are you guys married?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, why not?" And I said, I just kind of went, I don't know. And I actually had an engagement ring in my pocket at that point, which made it even more embarrassing. So he said, "So you're not going to marry this beautiful doctor?" Standing there, and I contemplated, I went, man, maybe I should just do it right now.
I know.
I just didn't think it was quite the setting, it's in front of this chatty Canadian. So he said, I can ask questions like that. I have some power here. So here I am with an engagement ring in my pocket, a random Canadian customs official, implying that I am passing up a good thing. And I thought, was this fate or just another chatty, person from Montreal? So this weighed heavily on my mind as we flew back to Minneapolis. And I told you a lot about sort of the incidents that happened on the way. And 2 days later, we were engaged. So he was kind of the final breaking point. But I'll say that the long wait, ending on my 45th birthday tomorrow, will be so worth it. I feel exceptionally lucky to be with this awesome, beautiful girl. And I'll throw You are wise beyond your years. You know CPR. Here's the first things you learned in training. You provide great advice regarding all my injuries. You can multitask like a pro. You handle stress better than I do. And you make me very happy.